Hey, what's up, people? Welcome to Clues Manifesto. Definitely feel free to follow and leave commentary. So, you know something? I remember the Howard Stern show going a ways back. Now, I never watched the show. It was just not my cup of tea. Like, there was always this thing to where, you had these shock jock sort of people who would sit up there and I think play off the worst in society, in order to get off the ground. You see that kind of stuff out to the world. But they had this Miss Butterface contest to where they would get, women to come on the show and basically be mean too. I think they had one contest where the woman they had to have like a small breast in order to win the prize at the end of the show. I think I'm not sure. Like I said, I didn't watch the show, but there were so many of these kind of shows, and I just don't like the whole casual callousness. I mean, look, you don't have to be the rosiest of people, but the whole being malicious just for the sake of being malicious, like this, just reeks of medieval, entertainment to where they're throwing tomatoes at the person who is the clown or the person whose head is in the whole was that thing where it locks your head and hands in one place and people throw tomatoes at you. Like, it just reeks of that kind of stuff to where the crowd gets off on humiliating somebody. Yeah, like it's that humiliation ritual stuff that I think is very sick. Like, it truthfully is. And I don't think she's an ugly person at all. And I think the person who put her up to going on this show knew that. Now, I'm not sure what her self esteem is because, I mean, there is no, I don't see an ugly person here, you know? And, the whole being malicious for the sake of being malicious, I've seen that kind of stuff from Howard Stern. He basically made that his lane, I would say. And he would just try to play it off as, oh, well, she's attractive and such. So trying to play off the bigger man while giving a platform for that to be a thing. And one of the things that he did that I think is just, it's a very unforgivable thing or something that should not be so easily looked past is that there was one person who went on his show who was from the show Different Strokes, and she was let go from that show. I think she got pregnant, so they couldn't have a thing to where somebody on the show was pregnant and they didn't have a husband, like that kind of stuff. They fire you for the sake of optics. But basically, she was falling on rough times, and she went on that show, and as usual, the whole humiliation ritual started. They had callers calling and dealing slick, talking crazy. She basically is a recovering addict or whatever going through. And it's like Howard Stern, I would say, was not the kindest of people. And there's no point to go on a show like Howard Stern and your stuff ain't together. I understand this. Like, when you walk on these kind of avenues, you have to understand the crowd that you're walking around. Like, you're walking around some malicious piranhas who are going to get after you and pick out whatever, loose self esteem that you have. That's where it went. And this woman, from what I've heard, she wound up, well, they say that she deleted herself, but it was actually from what the one person said, who was Todd Bridges. He said that it was an accidental OD. She took sleeping pills because she was depressed about it, and then she woke up, took sleeping pills again, and then that's how she, lost her life. And just a sad ass story, man. See, this is why I could never engage in stuff like this, because I don't want to be that person who was responsible for such a thing. That's just not something I have. I just can't do that kind of stuff. When people say, how do you sleep at night? I sleep at night very well, knowing that I'm not one of those kind of people. So yeah, like, I can't engage in that kind of stuff. And like I said, it's not about being, oh, I would never this or I would never that. No, I believe in being malicious to evil people. That's the extent to where I go, and it really is done for the sake of showing them that their behavior is unacceptable, You know, like it's more it's done more from a standpoint of either stirring change or creating an unwelcoming atmosphere for their behavior. But you definitely don't do stuff like this. And I think society feeds off that kind of stuff. It feeds off of being mean to people. This whole humiliation stuff. These are humiliation rituals, man. And it's very twisted, the fact that, we have people like this out to the world. I mean, look, we all laugh at certain things. And I think, what, American Idol even, that was a thing. Simon Cowell, American Idol, Judge Judy, how she would shout down people who come on her show. But I wouldn't say that's so much of a humiliation ritual thing. But, that was a part of her shtick to be a tough judge. But people would watch for the sake of her hollering at somebody. So, when that's your show, you play it up. But my thing is, do that with people who can take a hit. Don't do that with people whose self-esteem is on the ground. That's where it stops being funny for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like somebody getting punched down on. I like for a back and forth toe to toe for something like I want to see a damn show. I don't want to, like, a show is not somebody being humiliated like this. But yeah, that's where it stops being funny for me. And Howard Stern, I don't know where he is, as far as his whole life wise. I mean, he's talking about Trump, this and that. He's trying to talk as far as politics goes, but you have a past, man. You have an overarching past, and when you sit there talking about morality and what's unacceptable, dude, how the hell can you speak on anything? You know what I'm saying? When this is your track record, like, honestly, I like not even to be funny style, but this is not even about perfection. Like, this is who you were, man. So do you even have room to talk about anything or anybody? I mean, that's a very legitimate point. But that's all I'm gonna say when it comes to this.